Good evening from Klagenfurt. Welcome to the most south capital in Austria. You have seen in the video about our site, and you have heard about the background. I have 3 minutes to tell you something more, and then we should come into a discussion. I think the situation of our site shows you why we have chosen this site for Eurobahn 16. It's very attractive, and it's one of the hottest places for urban development in Klagenfurt within the next 10 years, because we think in our days, the use of this land is not at the high of the attractivity of this site in the nearby of the railway station and nearby the city of Klagenfurt. In 2025, we will get the high speed connection to Graz. It will be a new importance for the Hauptbahnhof Klagenfurt, and we see it as a great chance to develop this site. I will tell you 5 points what are important for me, and to start into the discussions. The first is the scale of the working. We are very early in the planning process. We heard that in our days it's used for buses, and there is a commercial use on some parts of this site. And the really change will start maybe in 4 or 5 years. So we are very early, and the scale of the working is to create an urban development plan. And this is the first important point for me. The second is you have the title Education Inclusivity. The site is surrounded in the neighborhood with many institutes for schooling, training, advanced training. And so we have a cluster of building institutes, and it is a great chance to create here a district where we can learn, work, and live in a small area together. And this is the reason why we came to the theme education inclusivity. The third point for me, what is important is to follow the smart city strategy of Klagenfurt. It is a great aim for Klagenfurt to get forward in this topic. The fourth point is the mobility concept. We accept a contemporary mobility concept which prefers pedestrians and cyclists. Today, the district is like a blind spot. You can't get inside, you have to go around, and we want to have a mobility concept on the height of our time. And the last and the fifth point for me, what is very important for the development of this area is to have a busy and livable ground floor. This is for me the most or the highest aim for develop this site. We don't want to have flats in the ground floor. We want to have business. We want to have social infrastructure. We want to have green infrastructure. So this is from my side a short introduction to our Klagenfurt quarter.
Maybe before we wait for the questions, we also saw on the images the old substance, the old building substance. And I think it is also important, maybe you want to talk about it, to see, to look at it carefully and not just demolish it. So maybe you can say something on that.
Yeah. This is a very important point. We have 2 or 3 buildings which are very interesting. It is on the one hand the so-called maker space. This is an old bus terminal, and now we have young startup businesses and makerspace. and the second, and in the western part of the remise, where the buses now stand, there is a typical industrial architecture, and I think both buildings are very interested to mix in a new plan.
Okay, I've just one small question. The first one was already answered about the preservation of buildings on the site. The other question is about the bus depot, which we find right now there. Should it remain there, the bus depot, or will it be replaced to another site?
The bus depot will be displaced to the south of the Hauptbahnhof. I think it's about 1 kilometer in the south. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe Robert, you want to talk about the type of community you want to attract to this quarter, and why it is, in what's the relation to this new connection to the Baltic-Adriatic route and the.
Well, I think it will be a very attractive quarter for people who don't want to use the car, and people who maybe want to get back to the town. We have in Carinthia the problem, many people went out to the countryside 10, 20 kilometers out of Klagenfurt, and I think this part of Klagenfurt could be a very good place to live and to work with best connections. We spoke very much about what will this high-speed railway connection will do with Graz and Klagenfurt, and I think for both cities it will be a new chance to develop around these railway stations, and so we have very many young people who go for studying to Graz, and they stay in Graz because they don't go back to Klagenfurt. It's too far away. They are not so attractive working places, and I think this short connection will help to create new forms of working. Maybe you are 2 days in the week in Klagenfurt and 3 days in Graz. Maybe you live in Graz and work in Klagenfurt, or you work in Klagenfurt and live in Graz, or vice versa. So we want to have a social good mix. In the briefing, you will see that we want to have a strong part of affordable flats also in this part, and we see a livable, very green and a very new part of Klagenfurt.
Thank you, Robert. I see that Aglaé managed to join us. Aglaé, she is professor at the Technical University and head of the urbanism department, and knows the site very well, and has done a project with her students there already. Maybe Aglaé, you want to say something to the site as well, briefly, or one input?
Yeah, I'm also in the Gestaltung Beirat from the city. Hello, Robert.
Yeah, sorry.
Hello, Aglaé.
I think it's a site which is very interesting because it's quite close to the center. It's a kind of connection between the station and the center. And that's maybe something that has to be thought in this idea. And it's also a site which is interesting because I think the study area also take in account the other side of the station, and that will be maybe interesting that maybe you say if there is a possibility also that it is clear if there is a possibility to also take in the project this other side, because now we see the frame is there, but is this also a wish from you to take go that far?
No, maybe Iris, you can show the plan short. The Hauptbahnhof, the main traffic station is a Great Barrier in direction south, but we have 3 or 4 ways to go from the north to south. It begins in the eastern part, the Lastenstraße. Iris, maybe you show your mouse here, and the next is a bicycle tunnel to the south, and the next is the main railway station over the trains, and the last is in the western part, the Unterführung St. Ruprechter Straße. And so we have 4 points to the south. It is for me, it's very interesting to the southeast, the connection to the southeast. There is a shopping center, and there are many institutes of administration from the country of Carinthia, and this is the most important connection to the south. These two strings, Lastenstraße and the bicycle way here. Yeah.
I think it is also because it's very much about the porosity. This is basically a key aspect, and that people can move through the area and not as, because there are so many day-to-day actually paths probably crossing here, because there are many schools, there are administrative buildings, or you come from the other side, so that it's really like an area, not now like an island, which is completely sealed off, but that you make people go through, cycle through, and so on, and make the... So we have a question in the chat. Will the current political change in Klagenfurt affect the process in some way? Maybe we have to explain to people who don't know Klagenfurt that there was just election and the mayor changed. The former mayor was basically initiating this project. So this is interesting question, maybe.
No, since today we have a new mayor and a new government in Klagenfurt, but I spoke with the new planning referent. This is Karina Smajčnik, and I told her about this project, and the project will go on. So this is a part of the political program, and I think we will have continuous here.
And you also told me that she was very excited about the Okay. Is there another question from the audience? You don't want to know anything? Okay, everything was so clear. So we were the smart city strategy. Maybe you want to elaborate a bit on this. You have mentioned this 4-5 points.
One was the smart city strategy.
Yes.
The smart city strategy is also on the homepage of Klagenfurt, www.klagenfurt.at. You have a link to this smart city strategy. We have defined, I think there are 8 smart city districts in Klagenfurt where we will force a new development with smart city strategy principles. And this so-called urbanes potential, urban potential, our site is also a smart city strategy district, and the main topics will be the traffic, the main topics will be energy, how to get energy, and one main topic will be a green or a greater part of of green in this district, and how to handle with water and how to handle with waste. And so in the smart city strategy, we have very clearly defined the aims on these topics.
Aglaé, do you want to say something, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it's a very interesting site, because there are not that much sites in Europe. I think that they have such a great opportunity for transformation. But I think if the competitors, they want to make a quite smart transformation, I think they have a bit to reorganize the circulation, and there is a bus station in front of the train station. Is it the bus station could be part of the competition, or it's an element that has to stay there?
Hello and welcome in the break room of Klagenfurt. Good evening. You have seen the video about our site, and you have heard about the background and the main issues. Now I'm sure you understand why we have chosen this area to take part on Eurobahn 16. For the city of Klagenfurt, this site is really, I will call it hotspot of the urban development within the next 10 years. The main aims the main aim for working on this district is the idea of living, learning, and working in the future. So we chose the theme of our site, education inclusivity, and I will give you maybe 5 points what is important for me to get on this district. The first is the scale of the working. Yes, we have a duration of 5 years when the new railway station gets a new importance, and when the buses from the depot, what is on the side, will go out and to another place. So we have 5 years for preparing and 5 years to develop, and this is very, very good, because in nowadays often we have to react and not to act. Yes. The site, this is the first point, the scale of the working. The second is what means to learn and live and work on this site. Yeah, in the neighborhood we have many institutions of schooling, training, advanced training, and it is a learning cluster, we will say, and it's a great chance to create new forms of living and working and learning in this district. Yeah, and we want to have people here. Maybe they come from outside of Klagenfurt, where they have built their houses, and they want to go back to a town, and they don't want to have any more a car, and they want to not to want to be dependent on a car. They want to live near the city. It's only 300 or 400 meters to the city, and they want to live near the good mobility. The third point is to follow the smart city strategy of Klagenfurt. We have defined 8 smart city districts in Klagenfurt to develop after smart city strategy principles, and this is one of these districts. We want to have a new mobility. We want to have a green part in Klagenfurt, and we want to have green on the roofs. We want to have water management plans. We want to have how to handle with waste and water. The fourth point is the contemporary mobility concept. In our days, this district is a blind spot. You can't go through to the north, but also you can't go through when you come from the south, because it is a closed area, and we want to have new forms of mobility. We want to have to prefer pedestrians, and we want to prefer cyclists, and we don't want to have car on the ground floors. We want to have cars on the ground floor. And the bus, the railway station is also a great bus station, and all city buses, but also the regional buses are going and coming from the main railway station. Maybe it will be interesting to locate also a city bus station in the center of our district, but this is, I think, not really necessary. So the fifth point, the last but not least point for me, is to get a livable district, and we want to have a busy ground floor zone. We don't want to have flats in the ground floor. We want to have social facilities in the ground floor. We want to have business, restaurants, all you can think, and all forms of working places. One point I've forgotten is the historical buildings on the site. We have 2 or 3 buildings. One you see here on the left picture. It's a historical site. It would be very interesting to not to break it down and to mix it in the new plan. Also, the makerspace on the western part of our site is a very interesting building, and it would be nice to hold it for the future. So this is my short introduction, and now Iris, please start the discussion.
Yes, thank you very much.
We have a question in the chat room.
Yeah.
What should be the main focus of the site? Science, culture, education, living, and is there a synergy with the Messegelände? I think to live and work and education, these are the main. This is the main focus, and there is a synergy with the Messegelände, because the Messegelände, it's far in the west. I think it's about 600 or 800 meters. Will be changed also in the future, but the Messegelände will have an Veranstaltungszentrum. Yeah, I don't have the English word. A congress center in the future, and the fair will stay also there. So maybe there will be a connection, but it's not so close.